lovelies, and welcome to day 1 of our 30-day yoga challenge. This is the March 1st class, the yoga beginner basics class. My name is Natasha, also known as Nourished Natasha. If you're here, thank you so much for signing up, for doing this membership, for doing this challenge. I am so grateful for each and every one of you, and I'm so happy to be able to do this. This is my passion, my dream, and you guys are here with me in it. So today we are going over some yoga basics. So basic postures, basic concepts of yoga. We're going to take it slow and really break it down. And what I encourage you as you go into this class and this challenge, it is a challenge. It's going to be challenging, right? The classes are going to kind of range anywhere from 10 to 60 minutes. We're going to be going over a ton of different stuff. It is going to be, of course, for beginners and all levels. All levels are welcome here, but geared to those that are beginners and want to learn. And I encourage you to go into this challenge with a growth mindset. So a growth mindset is an abundance mindset. It is a mindset that isn't fixed, right? The fixed mindset, the scarcity mindset. I sneeze. Oh, excuse me. The fixed mindset says, I can't do this. The fixed mindset gives up as soon as you start doing something and you're like, oh, no, this is hard, don't want to do it, I give up, can't do it, will never do it. The growth mindset says, I can't do this yet. The growth mindset says, keep going. The growth mindset says, hey, failing and sucking at something is a part of the journey, and that's welcome here. I just want you to have that growth mindset. It's okay to fall. It's okay to mess up. It's okay if you miss a day. This is going to be here for you forever. So if you're in the membership, as long as you're in the membership, these classes will be available for you, so you can do them anytime. But I encourage you to challenge yourself and try to do a class every single day for the month of March. We're doing 30 days of yoga for my 30th birthday. My birthday is on March 16th, so let's do it. Let's just break down yoga. So yoga comes from the Sanskrit word which means to yoke, and it means union, basically. It's union, it's uniting the mind, the body, the soul. It is essentially the goal of yoga is to get to the state of enlightenment, which is known as samadhi, and that's what we're trying to do. If you really want to dive deep into it, I highly recommend Jessamine Stanley's book, Yoke. It is incredible. It is probably my favorite book on this earth. But yeah, and it's important to remember that yoga did come from the South Asian people, from Hinduism, and we don't want to spiritually bypass. We have to respect where it came from, and that's really important to me as well. And same with accessibility and making yoga accessible. So what I say in all my classes is everything I say is an option, not an order. So if something doesn't feel good, you feel in sharp pain, or you're just like, I don't really like this, don't do it. Don't do it. Make your practice yours. Your practice is going to look different than my practice, and my practice is going to look different than everybody's practice. I want you to make your practice your own. And on that note, we'll talk about props. So props are an incredible tool in your yoga practice, and these make yoga more accessible for everyone. I think there's this misconception that you only use props if you're bad or you can't do something. No, these are a tool. It doesn't make you any less of a yogi for using props, and embrace them. We love them. I love my props. We have blocks, so I highly recommend you use blocks. You have blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use books that are these general shape and size. Of course, we have our yoga mat. That is also a prop. We have our straps, which mine is right here. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a towel or a blanket. And essentially, again, like I said, these props are a tool. You can also use a bolster, a pillow, a blanket. There's a lot of different props, some that I don't even have. There's a headstand trainer, the feet up trainer. There's things that can go under your knees for support, tons of different stuff. But these are the two main ones I use. What is the purpose of a block? It's to bring the ground to us. You can have it under your hands, you can sit on it. Its purpose is to just bring the mat to us, especially when you're like me, you have really short limbs. It's sometimes hard to reach the mat. That's why we love these blocks. And a strap is to take binds to, if you can't grab your hands together, you can use the strap. I've also seen people use straps in different ways. For example, in shoulder stand, if you're like me, if you're busty, those boobs go right into your face and you suffocate. You can actually put your strap on top of those boobs to kind of get them out of your face. That's a great way I've seen the strap used. But I encourage you to always come to every single one of these classes with your props, any props that you need, whether I'm cueing it or not. I want you to have your props with you. That being said, the last thing we're going to talk about, just as far as yoga basics go, is the 8 limbs of yoga. And like I was saying, as we don't want to spiritually bypass in yoga, we want to make sure we are addressing all parts of yoga. Westernized or colonized yoga has really just made it all about the physical. It's a workout. You see it in gyms. It's just like physical stuff. You have to push yourself and do all these crazy fancy yoga poses. That is not the case. There are 8 limbs in yoga. These are Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga from the Yoga Sutras, and we're just going to kind of go over a brief overview of it. So as I was saying, yoga is a process to enlightenment or samadhi. That is enlightenment. That's one of the 8 limbs. We have dhyana, that's meditation, which we are going to go over in these 30 days. We have dharana, which is concentration. We have pratyahara, which is sense withdrawal. We have pranayama, which is breath work, one of my favorites. We're also going to be doing breath work here. We have asana, which is, of course, our physical asana, our physical practice. And then we have the niyamas and yamas, and these are both just kind of the yogi way of living. These are kind of rules to adhere to, moralities, and that sort of thing. Practices and some restrictions. This is kind of where Ayurveda comes in, which is basically like the yogic health and nutrition and that kind of thing. But those are the 8 limbs of yoga, and we're going to try to cover all of them in this 30-day challenge. You'll see it scattered throughout the challenge. We're going to work on breath work and meditation and all that jazz. All right, I think I have been talking for a while, so we are going to go ahead and get started. We are going to get started in the seated pose. So I want you to find easy seated pose. Now, that's a loaded term, easy seated pose, right? Easy seated pose means something different for everyone. This is my easy seated pose. Yours might look a little different. Maybe you want to sit on a pillow or a bolster or a block. Maybe you want to have your legs extended. Wherever you go, I want you to find your easy seated pose where we can sit and we can breathe, and we're going to meditate for a little bit. So wherever you're at, take a second to scoot some goodness out from underneath you so you can feel those sit bones on the mat. Again, finding your comfortable easy seated pose. Your palms can come to the knees, facing down to get grounded, palms facing up to take in energy, or you can bring your hands to your heart if you'd like. Whatever feels right and good for you and your body. Now, once you're there, I just want you to close your eyes if it feels good. Imagine someone's pulling a string from the top of your head for that nice tall spine. And just start to bring your awareness to your breath. Now, when I say bring awareness to your breath, to your prana, your life force, I don't mean change it. I just want you to notice it. Notice it as it goes in and out. As you inhale, maybe you feel the chest expand, the belly expand, the shoulders rise a little bit. Take up space. And as you exhale, everything releases, maybe the shoulders drop. Maybe start to lengthen and deepen those inhales and exhales. And as you breathe here, I want you to take inventory of the mind, the body, the soul. And what does that mean? That means we want to check in, see how we're feeling. Notice any tensions or blockages or constraints that you might be feeling in this moment, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And this action of taking inventory, and especially of when something comes up, of when a blockage comes up, when you have maybe a thought that crosses your mind, or you feel a tension somewhere in the physical body, the ability to look at that thought or that blockage and let it pass on by. This is non-judgment. This is non-attachment. This is our key for our meditation. Meditation, people think, is the absence of thought. It is not. It is the ability to watch the thoughts kind of pass, to be an observer of your thoughts. And how to practice that is acknowledging those things. We have to acknowledge the maybe negative thoughts or the blockages or the constraints. But we have to just let them pass on by, not attach ourselves to them. Just kind of watch it as it goes by. And I encourage you to remember that you are human. You don't need to feel guilt or shame about having any of these thoughts or feelings. It's just part of being human. And that's usually what helps me kind of let them go. And your breath. Use your breath as a tool. You feel that blockage come up, take a big inhale in. And open mouth, exhale. Now we're going to do a breathing technique here that will also kind of allow you to focus your energy and focus your prana and focus your thoughts. This is 5-part breathing. So I just want you to listen to me. I'm going to count us down. Listen to my voice and breathe with me. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now you can continue these long, deep inhales and exhales. You can count them to yourself. But just bring yourself back to that breath. If you find your mind wandering, your breath is always here for you. Now we'll seal this with a few deep inhales and exhales. So big inhale in through the nose, filling up, and open mouth, exhale. One more really big deep inhale in. Remember, this is a community breath. We're all here together. And open mouth, exhale. It may be an online community, maybe people all over the world, but when you breathe, you're breathing with other people here in this space, in this community. Gently start to invite some movement into your body. Maybe wiggle your toes or wiggle your fingers. And we'll start to invite in some more movement. Now we're going to work on some of the basic yoga postures here, the basic asanas. So I want you to gently transition to a tabletop. Now our tabletop is a position we use a lot in yoga. It's kind of a home base for a lot of poses. Now if you maybe feel some pressure on your knees here, you can place a towel or a pillow or a blanket underneath your knees. I want you to stack those shoulders, elbows over the wrist, hips are stacked over the knees. And this is our tabletop position. Now we're going to flow through a cat-cow, another common thing you will see in most yoga classes, and this is to warm up the spine. So what this looks like is we inhale, drop the belly, kind of sticking the butt out, you're opening up the chest, gazes up, chin lifts, and exhale, we round the back, tucking everything, tucking chin to chest, doming out the shoulders, chin to chest, exhale. Inhale, we open up again. This is our heart opener. We're opening up. This is our cow pose. And exhale, we round. Exhale. And this is our cat pose. Like a cat that kind of is, you know, that's a scared cat image, I feel like. The black cat on Halloween. That's what we're going for here. Inhale, open. And exhale, round. Now I want you to do 5 to 7 more of these on your own breath. And what I want you to remember here is linking your breath to your movement. You can go fast or you can go slow, but I want you to focus on your breath, that pranayama. And I also encourage you here to do what feels good. So this is where your practice can become your practice. So maybe you just like this basic child's pose. maybe you want a little more, so maybe you kind of rock from side to side, squeezing shoulder to hip from side to side. Maybe you like to take some full body circles here. Just remember to even out your sides. But listening to your body is a part of listening to your intuition. Your body knows what it wants, and I want you to trust that. Continuing to move and breathe here. We'll finish up this last round and go ahead and come back to a neutral spine. Now, we'll move on to our child's pose. This is another kind of classic yoga pose. And I find a lot of the times, instructors like to say, oh, go just take child's pose. If you can't do this pose, just take child's pose, which is great. Child's pose is always there for you, but I think it's kind of offered as like the only variation when instructors don't know how to teach other poses. Like, oh, just take a child's pose. I love me some child's pose, but the thing is child's pose in and of itself sometimes isn't an easy pose, right? So a classic traditional child's pose, your knees are together, knees are bent, you're coming from your table, and you're sinking those hips back to your heels and extending the arms out. Now for me, as someone with a belly and thighs, this is so uncomfortable. I can't even bring my head down to the mat. I can barely breathe here, right? And this is why just saying, just take a child's pose isn't something we like to do, we want to do, right? So I encourage you here, if that child's pose felt okay, take that variation. But if you want something different, I want you to open your knees as wide as the mat and then sink your heels or your hips back to your heels, and then you can lower down, extending the arms out, chest comes down to the mat, chin or forehead releases to the mat. Now feel the difference there. This honors our belly, our thighs. This gives us space for our organs. And we are getting the same benefits from the pose. So I want you to breathe here in your child's pose. Bring it back to maybe that 5-part breath. With every inhale, you fill up with that prana, that breath, that life force. And with every exhale, maybe you sink deeper into the mat, sinking hips deeper down to the heels. And child's pose is also a great grounding posture. So maybe lift up all 10 fingers and bring them back down to the mat. And notice every part of you that's touching the mat. Get really grounded here. And I want you to breathe. When you're ready on the next inhale, you're going to gently rise up back to our tabletop. And now we're going to find a downward dog. Another one of those basic yoga poses that, isn't so basic. And it is when instructors say downward dog is a resting pose, I'm like, all right, really? Because downward dog is intense. So what I want you to do is from your table, you're going to tuck those toes. And you're going to inhale. Here, you're going to kind of round the back. And then exhale, you're going to straighten the legs and start to straighten the back as those hips face the wall behind you. Now here, you can widen the feet a bit again to honor and make space for the thighs and the belly. You're going to push the heels down towards the mat, but it's okay if they don't touch. What I really want you to focus on here is pressing those heels down, pressing those palms into the mat, and you're pressing your chest between your shoulders. If you feel your shoulders are kind of shrugging up to your ears, I want you to release those. And you're actively pressing your chest to your thighs. So a good way to kind of get deeper into a downward dog is bending into the knees, pressing that chest towards the thighs, and then straightening the legs. So essentially in this downward dog here, we're creating an upside down kind of V shape on the mat. You're going to feel this in your shoulders, in the arms, and the hands, the hamstrings. And I want you to find movement here. So maybe pedaling the feet, maybe shaking the hips, maybe shaking the head. And breathe here. Maybe inhale, lift up to your toes, and exhale, press those heels down. Now find stillness here, and we're going to travel to a forward fold. So I want you to inhale, gaze to your hands, and exhale, travel to a forward fold. So maybe this looks like a few baby steps forward. Maybe you take one big old step forward into your forward fold. Now our forward fold. We can keep our feet hips distance or maybe a little wider again to honor and make space for the belly and thighs. And I want you to ragdoll here. I want you to maybe grab opposite elbows, maybe sway from side to side. You can always keep a micro bend in the knees. Now forward folds is kind of the world's greatest counter pose. So generally in yoga, forward fold is kind of where we come back to after heart openers, after twists, inversions, after any sort of posture. Your forward fold is kind of the counter pose. And you can do forward fold in many places, standing, seated, wide-legged. Child's pose is a forward fold. We love a good forward fold. A great release for the spine and the low back. Now go ahead and find stillness here. Now we're going to do a halfway lift. So halfway lift is exactly as it sounds, lifting halfway with a straight spine. Lots of options. You can have your hands on the mat, hands on your shins, or even hands on your blocks in front of those feet. So we're going to inhale, press into the blocks. Inhale, lifting for a halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. And inhale, we're going to roll gently all the way up to standing. Take your time to come on up. Now we're going to find our Tadasana, our mountain pose. This is our standing posture, standing at the top of our mat. Feet hips distance or a little wider if that feels good. Hands at either side, palms facing forward. We're standing tall, we're standing powerful here. This is a mountain pose, so I want you to feel tall and powerful like a mountain. In our Tadasana, you can close your eyes if that feels comfortable and just breathe here for a moment. All right, my lovelies. Now we're going to flow through a little half sun salute. So our Surya Namaskar. This is a shortened version of it, a little variation of our sun salute. In our second class, we will be going over sun salutes of all kinds. So this is just a little baby version of it. So standing at the top of the mat, sun salutes are used to warm up the body. They're used heavily in a vinyasa flow practice. A full vinyasa is essentially a full sun salute. And in vinyasa flow, you'll take those vinyasas like in between every posture. But this is a great way to warm up the whole body and, of course, to salute the sun. So from standing at the top of your mat, I want you to inhale your arms up. Option, take a little back bend here, just a little baby one, maybe lifting the chin, opening up the heart. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, come to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come to standing. Exhale, hands to heart. Now this last one I want you to do on your own. I'm not going to cue it. You can watch me if you forget the moves, but I want you to link your breath to movement and flow with your breath. So when you're ready, you'll start on the inhale. We'll all meet it standing in Tadasana at the top of our mat. Take your time to get here. All right, now we are going to work on Warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1. This is the first in the Warrior series. There are 3 warriors, but Warrior 1 is one you'll often see in sun salutes. And in our next class tomorrow, we will be working on that, but we just want to get the basics of Warrior 1 down. So I'm going to cue this from standing. So standing at the top of our mat, hands are on our hips. Your right foot's going to come to center, and your left foot's going to step back and flat. Now, I'm not stepping super wide. For Warrior 2 or our high crescent, we step a little bit wider. For Warrior 1, it's a little bit shorter of a stance. Now you're going to bend into that front knee. Knee goes over your ankle. And this isn't like for every lunge, this is going to be the same posture. Knee over ankle. We don't want to hyperextend that knee past the foot, just because that can injure the knee. But it's okay if it's a little maybe a bit behind the ankle. We don't want to go past that ankle. Our back leg is straight, back foot is flat at about a 45-degree angle. Now the key here in your Warrior 1 is squaring your torso off to the front of the mat. It is difficult to square the hips all the way center, but we really want to square that torso to center. Now you're going to feel this powerful stance here, and then inhale those arms up. And I want you to find your breath here. In any posture, I want you to find that breath. Feel powerful. This is a warrior pose. It's a powerful pose. Take an inhale here, and exhale, just step back to the top of the mat. Now we'll take it to the other side. So hands on hips, left foot comes to center. Now right foot steps back, sitting ourselves up. Knee bends again over that ankle, squaring off the torso. Inhale, arms up. Breathing here. Inhale here and exhale, step back to the top of your mat. So that is our Warrior 1. We'll be doing those again tomorrow. Now we're going to work on our lunges. Lunges are another kind of basic asana, basic posture that we use a lot in yoga. So we want to get those down. So you're going to start standing at the top of your mat. And we are going to step back to a high crescent lunge. So again, your right foot comes center. Now this is where the left foot steps back even wider. You're stepping back to the ball of the foot. So going a little bit wider than your Warrior 1. Knee is over the ankle, hips and torso now square to the front. This back leg is as straight as you can get it, but you can always keep a micro bend in that knee. Your heel is over your toes, flexed foot, and then we inhale, arms up. This is our high crescent lunge. Breathing here. Take a big inhale in. Exhale, hands are going to come down either to the mat or to your blocks. This is where those handy dandy blocks come in. So this is my runner's lunge, variation of low lunge. You can also take low lunge by dropping this back knee and the foot comes flat, or you can stay here lifted. Knee stays over the ankle, never goes past the ankle. And it's also important, another alignment thing to look at here is when we're here in our lunge, my knee is not only over my ankle in the vertical or horizontal sense, my knee is also tracking over the ankle. So a lot of the times your knee kind of splays out to the side. We don't want that. We want that knee to kind of track right over the ankle, both forward and back and side to side. So breathing here. In this lunge, again, you can always drop to that back knee as well. Take an inhale here. Exhale, you're just going to step that foot forward into a forward fold. Shake it out. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to standing. And exhale, hands to heart. Now we're going to do that on the other side. So again, left foot comes to center. Right foot steps back pretty deep this time. Setting myself up for my high crescent lunge. Checking that knee over the ankle. I can see my toes. It's a good way to check. On the ball of that back foot, squaring off hips and torso. And then I can inhale my arms up. Find my prana, my breath. My dogs always love to bark at the most inopportune moments. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, releasing the hands to either side of that foot, either on your blocks or on your mat. And again, I want you to check in here. Is my knee tracking over my ankle? My hips are still square. Maybe I want to drop to my knee. Always an option. And my chest is kind of lifted here. I'm not like sagging down. I'm active. Everything is active here. Breathing into this lunge. And I'm going to inhale here, exhale, step that foot forward into your forward fold. Shake it on out for me. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come to standing. Exhale those hands to heart. All right, my lovelies, that was our little standing basics. Now we're going to take it down to the mat. I want you to inhale your arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. You're going to gently plant your hands and just slowly bend one knee, bend the other. Step back to just a seat on your knees. I want to bring it back to our breath here. Our pranayama. It's a very important part of your yoga practice. Now you can sit here on your knees like I am. You can put a pillow or a block underneath your butt, or you can sit on your butt. Again, go where is comfortable for you. My dogs just want to interrupt our breath practice. Now when you're seated somewhere comfortable, I want you to close your eyes if that feels good. Now you can have your hands on your thighs, or I encourage you even to place your hands on your belly. Show your belly some love. All my classes are also based in self-love and body acceptance. So why don't we go there? Place your hands on your belly. And I just want you to inhale, fill up, feel that belly expand, take up space. So often, and for so long we're told to suck in, but I want you to press that belly out. And exhale, release. Big inhale in, fill up. Remember, these are community breaths. You're here with others. Share this energy with them. Exhale. One more really big inhale in, filling up the chest, filling up the belly, taking up space. And open mouth, exhale. Share that breath and that energy with your community. All right, my darlings, we're going to release to our back. So taking a seat on your butt, bring those blocks off to the side. Now you're going to gently release to your back. So you can kind of grab the backs of thighs here and just use that as support to very slowly release down to your back. Now we're going to take a bridge pose here. So you're going to bend into your knees, your feet bottoms are going to come to the mat. Try to get those heels as close up to your butt as you can get them. And we're going to flow through 3 bridge poses. So our bridge is a bit of a precursor to our wheel pose. We're getting into that low back. We're getting into also the upper back, the whole spine here, and also the hips. So on the inhale, we're going to lift the hips up. And what I really want you to make sure of here is your knees don't splay out. Keep those knees in, again, tracking over your ankle. Now to get into this upper back, you're going to scoop those shoulders underneath your chest, an option to take a bind here. So grabbing hands underneath your hips and just pressing those hips up, opening the heart, the hips, the low back, gazes up, lifting the chin. Inhale, press them up a little bit more. And exhale, release one vertebrae at a time down. Now we're going to windshield wiper the legs here. And we're going to do that 2 more times. A great variation is a supported bridge, so just lifting up and placing a block underneath your sacral area and just holding there. I love it. We do that a lot in my classes. All right, we inhale, lift up those hips. Scoot those shoulders underneath. Maybe take that bind, open the heart. Breathing here. Inhale, press those hips up a little bit more. And exhale, release. Go ahead and windshield wiper those knees. We got one more here. So go ahead and find that stillness. And then when you're ready, inhale, hips up. Pelvis is pressing straight up. And again, maybe taking that heart opener. And breathing here. Inhale, press them up a little more. And exhale, release. Go ahead and windshield wiper out those legs. Now our final posture that we're going to take here are some supine twists. So I want you to bring your arms out to a T position. You're going to draw the knees into the chest. You're going to inhale here and exhale. Drop those legs over to the right and gaze over that left shoulder. You can use that right hand to kind of encourage those legs down. And I want you to breathe here. Our twists are our release, our end of class release before our Savasana, which is our resting pose. So I want you to breathe here and use your breath to release any of that fixed mindset, any of that mindset that says, I can't do this, or, I'm a beginner, this is really hard, I don't want to do this, I have so much to learn. Release that judgment of yourself. We're here to grow and learn together. Gently, when you're ready, I want you to inhale, bring everything back to center. And exhale, lights drop over to the left. Again, maybe gazing over that right shoulder. You can use your left hand to encourage those knees down if that feels good. And we breathe here. Gently inhale, return to center, and exhale, release. Now we're going to find our Savasana here. Our Savasana is our final pose. This is our rest. This is a time to breathe. You'll hear it 2 different ways, Savasana or Shavasana. They're both correct, and it means corpse pose. So the corpse pose is taking up all the space on your mat, kind of letting your limbs fall where they want to fall, and essentially just kind of laying here like a corpse. There are other options. You can take legs up the wall is a great variation. If you're like me and you have a bigger booty and you can kind of feel that gap between your low back and the mat, something I like to do is bend into the knees, really press that low back into the mat, and you can knock the knees in together, and that'll kind of release any tension on the low back. Wherever you'd like to go for your Savasana, please make your way there. The most important thing is to take up space and to listen to your body. And once you find yourself there, I want you to close your eyes if it feels good. And just breathe. I'll let you know when it's time to come back. Gently bring your awareness back into your space and back into your body. Maybe wiggle the toes or wiggle the fingers. Maybe roll out your wrists or roll out your ankles. Gently making these movements bigger until you're ready to draw your knees into your chest. Maybe just give yourself a little squeeze. Show yourself some love. Give yourself a pat on the back. You came here, you made it to your mat today. You signed up for this challenge. Give yourself some credit. When you're ready, you're going to drop over to one side, knees still pulled in, using the bottom arm as a pillow for your fetal pose. And then gently you can press up to a seat, any seat that you are comfortable in. Take your time, move gently. And once you're here, you can bring your hands to either side of you, feeling the mat beneath your fingertips. Inhale those arms up, taking all this wonderful energy we just created. Exhale, bringing them back down. One last release of anything that doesn't serve you. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, palms come together to touch, and we draw our hands to our heart center. The light and love in me honors the light and love in each of you. We bow to our practice. Thank you. That is all I have for you today, my lovelies. Welcome to the challenge. It's day one. You did it. Don't forget, drop a comment, connect with the other people in this community, in this challenge. That's a big reason of why I wanted to do this. So you have a support group. Again, remember, you're not alone. There's a ton of other people doing this here with you. That's all I got. I will see you tomorrow for some sun salutations.